The Golden Age of Pirates wasn't an age of freedom, but a slow descent into hell, where the men chasing treasure were hunted by empires, betrayed by their own crews, consumed by disease, starvation, and storms, and discovered too late that the Black Flag led not to unimaginable riches, but almost inevitably to the gallows, an iron gibbet, and a corpse left to rot as a warning to everyone who dreamed of following the same path. Enjoy the video, and don't forget to subscribe. Picture the year 1718. Stand upon a humid Caribbean shoreline before sunrise and breathe the sharp mixture of salt spray, rotting oak planks, saturated with decades of Atlantic brine, pine tar, melting beneath tropical heat, damp hemp rope, stale gunpowder trapped inside bronze cannon bores, and the sour odor of overcrowded waterfront taverns where exhausted sailors slept beside loaded muskets. Listen as patched canvas cracked against wooden yards, while iron chain plates creaked beneath constant strain, and every wave slapped against clinker-built boats carrying smugglers, naval deserters, escaped servants, and ambitious young men convinced that the Black Flag promised limitless wealth. History often remembers the Golden Age of Pirates as an era of freedom stretching roughly between 1690 and 1730. Yet the reality hidden beneath romantic paintings was a world collapsing beneath its own violence. Every pirate captain understood that survival demanded relentless movement, because remaining at anchor for too long invited disease, betrayal, naval patrols, or starvation. Hulls built from English oak relied upon massive futtocks fastened together by iron spikes that slowly corroded beneath saltwater intrusion, while the tumble-home design allowed heavy guns to sit lower without sacrificing stability during rolling seas. These engineering decisions improved combat efficiency, but trapped moisture within enclosed decks, where stagnant air mixed with human sweat, leaking livestock pens, spoiled provisions, and standing bilge water filled with bacteria. Before a pirate ever fired a pistol or swung a cutlass, he already lived inside conditions capable of killing him through fever, dysentery, scurvy, infected wounds, or contaminated drinking water. The greatest illusion surrounding piracy was the belief that captured treasure transformed ordinary sailors into wealthy men. Reality proved astonishingly different, because articles of agreement divided every prize according to carefully negotiated shares long before a vessel entered battle. The captain often received only 2 shares, the quartermaster perhaps 1 1/2, while common crewmen earned a single portion after deducting compensation for damaged equipment and medical payments promised to amputees. Gold coins rarely appeared in overflowing chests because merchant vessels transported sugar, tobacco, indigo, cacao, hides, timber, cloth, flour, rum, or enslaved human beings far more frequently than silver bullion. A captured cargo weighing nearly 200 tons demanded immediate unloading before Royal Navy frigates arrived, forcing exhausted pirates to labor beneath crushing tropical heat. Every barrel absorbed moisture, every sack attracted insects, and every delay increased the probability of interception. Careening became essential because marine worms bored relentlessly into underwater hull planking, reducing structural integrity until oak resembled sponge-like timber riddled with tunnels. Entire crews dragged vessels sideways onto sheltered beaches, where they scraped away barnacles, replaced damaged planks, heated pine resin mixed with tar, hammered fresh oakum between seams, and prayed that no hostile sail appeared beyond the horizon during the vulnerable operation. Naval warfare transformed the Caribbean into an expanding network of fear, rather than opportunity. During the War of the Spanish Succession, thousands of experienced privateers operated legally under letters of marque, attacking enemy commerce with official government approval. When peace arrived in 1713, many suddenly discovered that their wartime profession had become piracy overnight. Governments no longer needed them. Merchants refused employment, and overcrowded ports offered little work beyond starvation wages. Desperation, rather than greed, pushed countless veterans beneath the black flag. Yet governments adapted quickly. Faster sloops armed with long 9-pounder guns hunted pirate vessels across shallow waters where larger ships once struggled. Bronze cannon weighing over 2,000 pounds launched iron round shot, whose kinetic energy shattered oak fibers by crushing cellulose structure ahead of the projectile before splintering the interior surface into lethal wooden fragments. Many sailors died not from direct impact, but because razor-sharp splinters penetrated lungs, arteries, and eyes with horrifying efficiency. Surgeons carried bone saws, cauterizing irons, silk ligatures, and crude forceps, yet infection remained the true executioner because invisible bacteria flourished within humid operating tables, stained by previous amputations. Life aboard bomb pirate ships gradually became psychologically unbearable. Watches rotated every 4 hours regardless of exhaustion, while storms ignored human schedules entirely. Hemp rigging absorbed seawater until individual lines became dramatically heavier, forcing sailors to climb slippery shrouds dozens of feet above violently pitching decks. A single missed foothold often resulted in fatal falls onto capstans, hatch coamings, or loaded cannons secured by thick breaching ropes. Fresh water spoiled inside wooden castle because microscopic organisms multiplied rapidly in warm climates, leaving crews to consume foul liquid crawling with larvae. Salted beef hardened into fibrous blocks, requiring prolonged soaking before chewing, while ship biscuits frequently contained weevils whose presence eventually became accepted as unavoidable protein. Rats multiplied inside storage compartments, contaminating grain and spreading parasites across sleeping hammocks suspended barely inches apart. Arguments erupted over stolen food, unequal prize distribution, suspected informants, or accusations of cowardice during boarding actions. Pirate democracy existed, but it functioned beneath constant pressure, where a single disastrous decision endangered every life aboard the vessel. Mutiny remained an ever-present possibility, and captains who lost authority rarely survived long enough to reclaim it. By the late 1710s, the British Empire intensified its campaign against piracy with unprecedented coordination. Colonial governors exchanged intelligence regarding suspected anchorages, while naval squadrons maintained longer patrols supported by expanding logistical networks. Ports, once willing to purchase stolen cargo, increasingly feared legal punishment, reducing opportunities to convert plunder into usable supplies. Pirates therefore sailed farther, consumed greater quantities of provisions, and accepted increasingly dangerous targets, simply to remain alive. Famous captains understood that every successful raid attracted additional attention. Black powder itself demanded meticulous protection because grains manufactured from approximately 75% saltpeter, 15% charcoal, and 10% sulfur absorbed atmospheric moisture with alarming speed. Damp powder burned sluggishly rather than exploding with proper pressure, drastically reducing muzzle velocity and turning expensive cannon into unreliable burdens. Powder monkeys carried cartridges wrapped carefully within protective containers, while officers inspected magazines continually for sparks, because one accidental ignition could convert an entire warship into floating wreckage within seconds. The sea offered no forgiveness for mechanical negligence, and neither did pursuing governments determined to erase piracy forever. The Golden Age of Pirates ultimately became a living hell because every apparent advantage created an even greater danger. Wealth invited betrayal, fame attracted relentless pursuit, powerful ships required endless maintenance, and successful captains inspired jealous rivals long before they frightened imperial navies. Tropical climates accelerated decay in wood, iron, food, sails, and human bodies alike, ensuring that every voyage became a race against entropy itself. Disease spread more efficiently than treasure. Storms destroyed fortunes without firing a shot, and legal pardons tempted desperate crewmen to betray lifelong companions for survival. Gallows erected at colonial ports served not merely as punishment, but as psychological warfare, displaying tar-coated corpses suspended inside iron gibbets, where tropical birds stripped away flesh before every arriving merchant crew. The message remained unmistakable. Piracy promised excitement only briefly, but almost always delivered suffering, measured in hunger, infection, exhaustion, fear, and public execution. What later generations remembered as an age of legendary freedom was experienced by those who actually lived it as an unforgiving struggle against governments, nature, engineering failures, disease, and one another, until the black flag that once symbolized opportunity came to represent little more than an almost certain path toward misery and death.